distribute, publish their own music. They was trying to bring their money together and do that. And what I know of is that, and Jay-Z was a part of this, because I heard Shiv probably spoke on this too, that Jay-Z and Puff had somebody write something up to say that they was trying to monopolize, get a monopoly on the industry and start their own distribution company. And they told the higher ups, and that's when all those companies start going down, start coming up with federal charges and all kinds of, things that's happened to them. You've seen it with Irv Gotti and them. You've seen it with Rockefeller breaking up and all that shit like that. That's what I was talking about.
Currently, amidst numerous allegations and lawsuits, the list of his alleged offenses continues to expand significantly. He's been involved in distributing and publishing his own media, working to consolidate funds for this purpose. It has been reported, including mentions by CH, that Jay-Z collaborated with him, suggesting that they attempted to establish a monopoly in the industry by creating their own distribution company. They informed the senior executives, which led to a series of dramatic corporate declines. This was evident in the cases like Irv Gotti and the breakup of Rockefeller, which are similar to the incidents I was referring to. Moreover, it's said that his close ally, Jay-Z, has consistently supported him to the extent that they would report other artists to the FBI to eliminate competition entirely. A recent Fox News alert has shed light on a massive federal sex trafficking raid at Diddy's properties in Miami and LA. TMZ reports that upon arrival at Diddy's residence, federal agents immediately disabled his surveillance system and confiscated all footage. Their search wasn't limited to security videos. Homeland Security also seized hard drives, phones, and other electronic devices, aiming to uncover photos, emails, and names linked to the alleged sex trafficking network. These methods are reminiscent of tactics previously seen in the Epstein case, raising questions about whether the evidence will be buried or used for blackmail. It remains uncertain whether the contents of Diddy's cameras will ever be revealed, or if the investigation will result in higher-level indictments involving politicians, athletes, celebrities, and music executives who frequented Diddy's parties. Authorities have indicated that the alleged victims are fully cooperating with the investigation, providing comprehensive details to the investigators. We promise to keep you updated with any new information as it becomes available.
Fox News alert, we're learning a lot more about the massive federal sex trafficking raid at Diddy's homes in Miami and LA. According to TMZ, the first thing the feds did once they got to Diddy's property was immediately disable his surveillance system and seize all his footage. And it wasn't just security footage they were after. Homeland Security also confiscated hard drives, phones, and other electronics, focusing on finding photos, emails, and names linking others to the alleged sex trafficking operation. These tactics straight out of the Epstein playbook. Seize the footage, but then what? Bury it? Blackmail with it? We don't know. Will anybody ever know what was on Diddy's cameras? And will this investigation lead to indictments that go higher up the food chain? And how high? Politicians, athletes, celebrities, music executives, all were recorded inside Diddy's parties. Officials say that Diddy's alleged victims have not been holding back during their interviews and are telling investigators everything. We'll keep you up to date on all of these details and more as soon as we hear them.
Meanwhile, rumors are swirling about the FBI's seizure of Diddy's security footage amidst speculations of Diddy possibly being an informant. This has led to further scrutiny of Jay-Z's decision to appoint a known figure with a controversial history with the DEA and FBI as the head of Roc Nation. This raises questions about her role and the nature of her involvement. The situation seems suspect to many, considering her background and the principles we uphold. The implication that Roc Nation could be government-operated is being considered seriously. There's a growing belief that the government not only runs businesses, but might also have informants within the rap industry. This suspicion is heightened by observing how certain figures have navigated around federal charges, which brings the entire situation into question. In conclusion, these developments are perplexing, and it's challenging to accept the official narratives without further evidence. She has always been in a strong position. It's unclear when they lined him up, but her position remains advantageous.
Jay-Z appointing her head of Rock Nation, knowing her checkered past with the DEA, FBI, and all that. How do you feel about that?
What else you gonna do? When you working with him, what else you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? She gonna be around. You know what I'm saying? That's what's just like suspicious to me. You know what I mean? Homegirl got a strong position in there, and it's crazy that you know her background and you know what we stand for. So it's just self-explanatory. You know what I'm saying? You working with them, or you got to be working with them. As far as I'm concerned, Rock Nation is run by government. You know what I'm saying? Why would people think the government don't run businesses? You don't think by right now that they ain't got a major rapper that's a snitch, that's an informant?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
You don't think in 2020 that they don't have a major rapper that's an informant? Come on, man. I think this run by the government. I think that the government has to make money. You got to understand the people that these companies make money for. You got to look at some of these cases these niggas have. How niggas getting around certain federal charges.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, you start to question all that. Like, end of the day, nah, that shit don't. It's not right. It's not right. You know what I mean? I call a spade all day. But at the end of the day, there's no way possibly you can sit and tell me on my case that they ain't got no conversations with Jay and Henry at all. It don't make sense. So at some point, they got a hold of him, and he's been working ever since. Desiree, she good. She in a good position, always been in a good position. Don't know when they caught them up, but she in a good position.
In a revealing statement, Haven Herbie, formerly Jay-Z's closest ally, stoked the rumors by claiming that Jay-Z's entertainment empire, Rock Nation, is influenced by governmental forces, hinting that Jay-Z might be covertly providing information to federal authorities for his own benefit. This adds a layer of intrigue to the ongoing project about the creation of Music Reason, a challenging topic due to the negative rumors about those in his circle. Despite his desire to tackle the project, his principles and upbringing prevent him from proceeding, especially given his personal challenges with the government, including being incarcerated for marijuana-related charges, and the legal troubles faced by his associate, Gotti. This complex situation makes it more sensible for him to maintain his distance until the air clears around these controversies. It's difficult for him to reconnect with someone facing such accusations without having a direct conversation to form his own judgment. Additionally, during past interviews, Dame Dash has confirmed that Jay-Z's connections with the government have significantly boosted his power, drawing parallels to Diddy, who has also managed to avoid legal repercussions for his past actions. Even the LA police have been unable to proceed against Diddy concerning an older case due to the time elapsed, further complicated by a leaked photo showing Diddy interacting with federal agents during a raid. Such incidents cast a shadow over their reputations. Reflecting on a different aspect of his career, the discovery of a new artist marked a proud moment. He fondly remembers the words, "That's my artist," highlighting a pivotal point in both their careers. Initially not managing her directly, he signed her to Def Jam after she boldly walked into his office with her lawyer, introducing her talent with the song Pond the Replay. Despite fears that the song might overshadow her, he recognized her star quality immediately. Her confidence, appearance, and the soulful maturity beyond her years left a lasting impression. He knew from that performance in his office, at just 16 years old, that she was destined for greatness, leading him to sign her on the spot.
Filming a movie about the making of Reasonable Doubt.
That's a rough one because as much as I want to, and my principles and the way I was taught would never let me, only because of what's being said about the people around me, you know what I'm saying? And, just because of what I've gone through with the government and what I'm watching Biggs go through, he's locked up for weed, and what Irv Gotti went through, and we were all kind of cool. It just seems mathematically makes sense for me to stay over here until he gets cleared.
That makes sense.
And I can't have had a conversation with him, so I can't judge him at this point, but it's gonna be hard for me to come around him while he has that coming. You know what I mean? That's just me, you know what I'm saying? And that's my nigga,
Yeah, because there's so much to talk about in a movie like that. I mean, you guys.
It's just something I can't really.
Right.
I want to do it.
Yeah, because even before Reasonable Doubt, there was a journey before that needs to be talked about.
I mean, I'm gonna definitely do the movie about Cam and I's relationship in the street because
While addressing other controversial topics, such as Jay-Z's early pursuit of Rihanna when she was just 16, he admits to the complexities of their industry where boundaries are often blurred.
A 16-year-old girl did it, which is odd, but, like I say, we grow up fast.
I love Jay, and I'm not. I want to say that too. And I just spoke to Jay this morning.
How is the sex? Is he hung like a horse?
Oh my God.
That's what Artie says.
She's unbelievable.
Is he?
Jay's one. Let me tell you something. No one can do what Jay and I do. Like for real. It's a trainer in this industry that I have genuine love for. Like real diehard love for. It's Jay. For real.
You're sprung. That was her first. Art, you think she and J Bone? You don't have to acknowledge it, Foxy. Just Art.
Maybe some foreplay.
Oh,
maybe
no,
a what?
Me.
Some foreplay.
Bonification boning.
Maybe foreplay? Yeah. So I look like I.
His mouth has been on your breast before, is what Art is saying.
Oh yeah, you think that?
Yeah, I think
you have to remember. I'm a lot younger than.
Exactly, and so is Beyonce. He likes him younger.
I just needed a person who can take that position that, girl versus guy call and response, because that's what it is. It's just a fun girl versus guy type of thing.
He was like, okay, why don't we just talk about real life? And I was like, give me 20 minutes.
Please don't give a fuck on how you move with them other mommies. I push the Z, eating shrimp scampi with rocks larger than life. Fuck them Reebok broads, you made it known who your wife was.
I've been in since I was 15 years old, so it was like really getting a divorce. And
I guess sometimes people forget you started very young.
I started at 15, for real, real age.
It show.
It show.
Yeah.
I mean, they said we keeping it real. We talking real talk.
Right. No, for real. Like Jay could tell you, I would go from the studio and he'll have to pick me up from school and take me to the studio. Like I said, we have a different relationship. We have a special relationship, and Jay knows because Nas and I and Jay-Z and I are two different friendships.
Like an ordinary point of view. It's like very controversial. You got to speak about it. So it's cool. It's cool.
You guys get along pretty well?
Yeah. Fox is she's a baby, but she listens to me. You know what I mean? She's tough. You know what I mean? She's a brat, but she listens to me, so it's cool. You know what I mean? Baby girl, she's good. She's cool people.
He speaks candidly about his close relationship with Jay-Z, reflecting a deep, enduring respect despite the controversies, underscoring the multifaceted nature of their connections and the industry at large. In a typical Point interview, things tend to get a bit controversial, which is interesting. It's great how well everyone gets along. Yeah, Fox is quite young, but she's a good listener, She's also tough, really strong, a bit of a brat at times. But she does listen, which is cool. Baby girl, she's great, really cool. Then there's the rumored romantic situation, which is, well, it's something. I'd say it's alleged, but we kind of know the truth, right? Yeah, she was there before Beyoncé. Not to mention Jay-Z's absolutely inappropriate actions. I met Dr. Rock just by being out and about at places where he was too. He invited me to an event once, and I brought a friend who ended up dating Uncle Paulie, the head of security at the time. I'm not sure if he still works there, but he was a fixture for many years. They started dating, and I gradually developed a more brother-sister type of friendship with him.
I met D-Rock just being out and being all at these places where he was as well. And he invited me to some event where I brought my friend with me, and my friend started dating Uncle Paulie at that time, which was the head of security. But that was back at that time. I don't know if he's still working there or not, but he was around for many, many, many years. I think he's pretty much well known in the industry. And so they started dating, and I started to form a friendship with him, more like a brother-sister friendship over the years. And that's kind of how we started doing business together. At first, obviously, he did not know about the girls or all my other businesses, because my goal was to be a manager or A&R in the music industry, setting up tours, anything like that. That's how that was my long-term goal. It was not to be a madam or run escort services. That was just a means to like survive in New York. As you know, it's very expensive there.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so you're figuring that out. That's all happening, and that's when you get into the sort of the Diddy scene, the Diddy parties, etc. We have to be careful on some of the keywords we say, but substances were then brought in, and that's when things and women, and then at a certain point you were asked to bring in certain amount of substances more than you were comfortable with, correct?
Right, but that was through through Uncle Paulie. That was not for the party. So there's a difference between the parties and the studio and so on. That was just small amounts. But then, obviously, for me, it was not even the interesting part. Like with those substances, it was more like for parties, favors, and for the clients, right? And then if someone asked me for it, I would just give it to them. It was not even about making money. It's just more like getting favors for favors, right? That was more a little bit my way of dealing with it. And since that they were taking a liking into that product, they asked me to just set up, or they just wanted to know who my connect was, right? Which I was not able to give out. And then since he did a lot of favors for me, I kind of felt obligated, being naive, at that time I was 24, obligated to set him up with a bigger amount.
That's how we began doing business together. Initially, he was unaware of my other ventures because my goal was to manage or work in A&R in the music industry, organizing tours and such. I never intended to be a madam or run escort services. That was just a way to get by in pricey New York.
At this point, and you walked up to me and said, "That's my artist." And I was struck by that. I'd never forget those words. "That's my artist." And you were proud, man. And you were like, "Wow, this is a discovery of mine." And then she exploded. And then she lit up. How hands-on are you in terms of managing her career?
Well, we actually manage her now. We didn't manage her in the beginning. I signed her as an artist on Def Jam.
How'd you know? Where do you meet? Where do you find a girl like that?
She actually walked into my office. She has a lawyer, Scott Felcher, and he knew Jay Brown, who works with me, and they made the introduction. He played him the song Upon the Replay, which was her first single she had already. And she walked into the office, and I heard the record, and I was really afraid of the record. It was so big that I thought the record would be bigger than her.
Right.
I thought the record, she would be the Upon the Replay girl.
Forever.
Yeah, but I took the meeting anyway. I said, let me just meet her. And
beautiful
when
girl.
I met her that day, I knew she was a star. Like, just her look, the way she walked into a room and her confidence, and she performed in my office.
And she was, 17 years old at that point?
She was 16.
16, and she has the confidence of it. She's like an old soul in a sense, right?
Absolutely.
So she walks in your office, and she just belts out a tune?
Belts out a tune, she performs, and I tell her, there's no way out of this office. I signed her that day.
Wow.
At that point, I started getting involved in the Diddy scene, attending his parties and such. We have to be cautious about certain keywords, but substances were introduced, and so were women. At one point, I was asked to bring in more substances than I felt comfortable with through Uncle Paulie, not for the parties, but for smaller, more personal use. It wasn't even about making money, just about exchanging favors. They took an interest in a particular product and wanted to know my connection.
That guy that said I have the money, if we both got arrested, as they claimed, he would have been my co-defendant, but he wasn't because he was an undercover agent. Uncle Paulie never got arrested, right? So that means he collaborated with that undercover agent from the DEA, right? And after that, when things are kind of like, when I went to Rikers Island, and now I understand what my charges are, and so on and so on, they obviously wanted me to read out who was my connect and who are my clients from the escort service, right? And obviously I didn't talk to them about it. I did not give out any names. So I had to figure out, okay, how can I kind of drop down my time a little bit in that sense, because I was looking at a pretty substantial amount. I've talked to different people. One of my really good friends is Gene Deal, as he has been very big on this whole P. Diddy situation, has been talking about it for years. And he has told me that, look, in the streets, it's known that Uncle Paulie has been a rat, and the reason was because when all that stuff happened with the BMF, right? We go back to the Black Mafia family, which the drug ring has supported all the businesses of the music industry, right? Somehow Puff was probably involved as well, not maybe personally, but the crew around him. And a lot of people got arrested in year 2005 and 2006, but some people never got arrested, even they were very deep involved in it, right? And those people probably have to now work as a confidential informant. I'm not saying that is exactly how it went down. That's just like how it makes sense and how it has been talked about.
Given all the favors he had done for me, I felt naively obligated to help him out more substantially, even at 24. Then there's Nas Ghani, the madam of an international escort ring who happened to encounter Diddy upon entering Sony. She quickly became a regular at his more secretive parties. It's odd because we used to attend these exclusive poker parties in Harlem. One night, Diddy asked if I could smuggle some drugs across the border if something specific happened. I outright refused, scared, and not wanting to be involved in that kind of activity, despite wanting to be reliable for them since they had helped me so much in the industry with various connections and events.
And you then eventually begrudgingly agree to do this smuggling run as a favor.
Right, but no, it was in New York, so I did not go over the border or anything. I just hooked him up with a substantial bigger amount. I was meeting his friend that he introduced me to on an Upper East Side restaurant, like a luxury place. And the second I went in there, he kind of made a comment of like, oh, I have the money, which was really loud for the fact that we were there like a little bit, not to be out there. And that second, the feds stormed the entire restaurant. They took me down into handcuffs. And I was really, again, very naive. I didn't know exactly what was happening. Why was that happening? This is a friend of his. And I didn't really understand as well the American system, right? How you can even set somebody up. Because as far as I know, it doesn't work like that in any other country, especially not where I'm from. You can't just do a crime and then set somebody else up so they're doing the time, So I didn't.
Eventually, I begrudgingly agreed to help with a substantial amount of the substance, not across borders, but locally in New York. I met his friend at a luxury restaurant on the Upper East Side. As soon as I walked in, his friend loudly mentioned he had the money, which was quite inappropriate given the setting. Moments later, the federal agents stormed in and arrested me. It was a shock. I was very naive and didn't understand the American legal system or how someone could set up another person to take the fall for a crime, which isn't something that happens in my home country. While Ghani exerted every effort to assist Diddy, she quickly came to understand that he was a man with no allegiance to anyone but himself. In his quest to protect his own interests, he wouldn't hesitate to betray anyone. The individual who claimed he had the money, had we both been arrested as they alleged, he would have been charged alongside me as a co-defendant. Yet he wasn't, because he turned out to be an undercover agent. Uncle Paulie was never apprehended, right? So that indicates he must have cooperated with that undercover agent for the drugs, right? After my stint in Rikers Island, when I fully grasped the charges against me, they clearly wanted me to disclose the identities of my contacts and clients from the escort service, right? I refused to divulge any names, which left me trying to figure out how to potentially reduce my sentence, since I was facing a considerable amount of time. I've spoken to various people, one of my closest friends being Gene Deal, who has been vocal about this whole situation for years. He told me that it's well known on the streets that Uncle Paulie is an informant. This all goes back to the Black Mafia family, which supported many music industry businesses through its drug operations. It's suspected that Puff might have been involved, not personally, but through his entourage. Numerous people were arrested in 2005 and 2006, yet some deeply involved were never caught, likely having to work as confidential informants. I can't confirm that's exactly what happened, but it fits the narrative and what's been discussed. Diddy has avoided many allegations in the past because, to me, it appears he's protected by the FBI. That's also what Nas seems to suggest. How could Diddy's right-hand man not be aware that he was an informant from the start? And why were they targeting you? Are the feds shielding Diddy? Are they collaborating with him to eliminate the competition just because you brought some minor party favors? Perhaps they aim to replace them with their own. This raises many questions. My thoughts then turn to why the feds were after you in the first place. Nas Ghani also spoke about Diddy's former bodyguard, Joan Deal, who suspected that Diddy might be collaborating with the FBI to safeguard himself. Diddy's former bodyguard has come forward tonight, claiming that Diddy has been a confidential informant for the FBI. "People don't realize this, brother," he said. "Puff has been eluding the legal system for years. It's well documented," he continued, "that Duff has acted as a CI for an FBI agent. They used to take some papers up to the FBI station here in New York," he explained. While it wasn't clear initially what those papers were, it was later revealed that he was indeed a CI. Primetime hasn't confirmed this, but if true, it would explain why Diddy seemed to have carte blanche to cause trouble. According to a lawsuit filed by his producer, Diddy always got what he wanted. "I'm a savage," he would say. "Whatever I want, I'm going to get. Whatever I want, I have to get." While cultivating relationships with Hollywood elites like Harvey Weinstein and emerging as a significant voice in the Democratic Party through his Vote or Die campaigns supporting Kerry, Barack, Hillary, and Biden, Diddy believed he was above the law. However, recent events have seen his house raided, tapes seized, and the feds scrutinizing his flight records, signaling a potential downfall. Furthermore, Gene has gone on record to state that Diddy has secretly recorded videos and tapes of numerous politicians and celebrities, handing them over to the FBI as part of a deal to conceal his own criminal activities. "They were not after me directly. They wanted me to expose my connections," he revealed about a botched raid on his home where they mistakenly targeted the wrong apartment. Despite this error and having all his money seized, leaving him unable to afford legal representation, he had some funds hidden in Switzerland that enabled him to hire lawyers. These lawyers managed to mitigate the fallout from the federal mistakes during his arrest. Opting to remain silent, he noted, "Obviously, a lot of people were scared of me talking." By discussing the clients of the escort service, he was able to negotiate favors and secure a lighter sentence. With all this in mind, do you think it's possible that Diddy has also been an informant for the feds? Reflecting on your own experiences and the recent raids, could this be true? "I personally believe it is," he concluded. "That's just my opinion, not a fact. But considering all that he's managed to get away with over the years and his significant influence, including owning a media company and possessing incriminating videos of influential figures, it seems quite plausible. Because, let's face the truth, those who are aware of the depth of darkness in Diddy's world also understand that there's no way he could have evaded so many allegations without some connection to federal authorities. As for Meek Mill, Puff Daddy, or whoever else, none of these individuals, all of you pretending to be tough, you know who you are. Let me put it bluntly, you all act tough, but you can't actually harm anyone. And the reason you talk big is that you've made agreements. You're cooperating with the authorities. That's why you target me. Part of your agreement to get out of jail was a promise to challenge my credibility. So, all of you need to stop talking about me. Now, to restate that calmly, you all need to cease speaking about me, particularly about Michael. Right. And interestingly, people labeled Kanye West as insane a few years back when he first suggested that Diddy was collaborating with the feds, and now his allegations seem rather plausible. It's quite alarming if Kanye's observations are accurate, isn't it? And it's not just mere talk. Kanye has confronted Diddy directly, even sharing screenshots of exchanges where he accuses Diddy of being an FBI informant. Diddy's somewhat aggressive response to these accusations also raises questions. They can't control me. Understand? They might manage to influence Shaquille O'Neal, Charles Barkley, LeBron James, Jay-Z, and Beyoncé. All of them. But they can't control me. There isn't a name I won't mention. And Kanye hasn't shied away from revealing the names of those he believes are accomplices in Diddy's questionable activities, despite being branded as crazy and irrational. Leave your thoughts in the comment, subscribe, like, and share.